Every year at AutoIndustriya, we come up with a 10 best list of the best-selling vehicles in the Philippine market for that year. And it comes as no surprise that many of those vehicles have a T on the grille. Vios, Avanza, Fortuner, Hi-Ace, Hilux, Innova. That's probably why every sports car sighting or supercar sighting has an Innova to go along with it. But now that Toyota is back in the small crossover game with the Corolla Cross, can they repeat that same success? If you saw my video of the Corolla Cross Hybrid from last year, well, I wasn't really impressed with the vehicle. Yes, the actual hybrid system was good, but I think Toyota could have done much more to improve the packaging of the vehicle and the features. But also, many of you asked for the more budget version of the Corolla Cross, the non-hybrid. And that's what we're bringing you today. And you can tell by looking at the T-grille, there's no blue halo on it anymore. To more easily understand what the Toyota Corolla Cross is, you just have to look at the name. It's a crossover version of the #1 selling vehicle of all time. But instead of a 4-door sedan, what you're getting is a 5-door. In a more crossover, more SUV-ish form factor with the black cladding all around to make it look taller, even though it actually isn't really that much taller than the regular Corolla sedan. And Toyota won't let you forget just what it is you're driving because they put Corolla Cross all around the vehicle, on the headlights, taillights, on the tailgate, and even on the D-pillar, which is strange. But also they put the silhouette of the Corolla Cross as little snippets all around the vehicle. Like here, on the windshield, you have it on the front grille, like right around here, and a few other places here and there. But still, this is more of a spin-off. But that's okay because sometimes spin-offs can be great. NCIS and Jag, or Frasier and Cheers, and Joey and Friends. No, wait, not that one. I'm really giving away my age on this one. From the back, there's not much to talk about. The trunk release is right here. It's not a motorized tailgate, but that's expected. Also, you have the rear view camera over there, as well as the Easter egg we were talking about earlier. There's more here. 1, 2, and 3. The cargo area of the Cross is actually quite respectable. If you need more cargo space, well, the rear seats actually do fold down. But as you will see, not really fold flat. Actually, not fold flat at all. The reason for this is because the 1.8G shares the body and structure with the 1.8 hybrid. They didn't bother changing the panels there underneath that was made to make space for a hybrid battery. So even though this isn't a hybrid, it has the sacrifice of the hybrid system. Powering the Corolla Cross is a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's only a front-wheel drive model. There is no option for all-wheel drive in the Corolla Cross. In terms of power, it makes 140 horsepower and 172 Newton meters of torque. If you know the vehicle class, that one is actually quite low compared to a lot of competitors because, for example, the Ford Territory has more power and more torque from a smaller engine because they went for a turbo. This one is naturally aspirated. Toyota does have the hybrid version for the HV, but that one is significantly heavier and also much more expensive. But what bothers me about this Corolla Cross is the fact that Toyota didn't even try to cover anything up. There's no engine cover to make it look neater like a lot of other models in the market. They didn't even try to put a heat insulator on the hood, which is strange because that's kind of normal in a lot of vehicles now, and it prevents that steaming when it rains. Toyota also didn't do anything in this part apart from raising the intake. But even though it's a raised intake, it's not high. I don't have my tape measure with me, which is one of the rare times I don't, but this one I'd say maybe around 600 millimeters off the ground. Before we close the hood, this is a good chance to explain the difference between car and crossover because a crossover uses the platform of the car, and here you can see that. You can see the original lines of the Corolla when you look down here. And Toyota had to put risers for the body panels of a larger crossover SUV. That is why a lot of car companies mask all this stuff with plastic to make it look neater and to not expose all of that so much. But for some reason, Toyota didn't do that. So the back seat of the Corolla Cross non-hybrid, it's actually okay. It doesn't have the leather seats, but that's all right. I mean, this is fabric. It looks pretty high quality to me. The rear seats, they do have two positions for comfort. So you have one that's reclined, which is actually this one right now, and you have the one that's a bit more upright like that. There is a center armrest here, which is good. 2 cup holders, 3 headrests. You do lose the dual AC vents here in the back, but that's expected anyway. One thing I really want Toyota to work on is the room right here because of the compromise from the hybrid system, which this one does not have. So now we've come to the interior, or as I call it, my chief criticism of the Toyota Corolla Cross and even the Corolla itself. At first glance, the dashboard seems all right, but when you look closer and start touching things, that's when the differences come out. I mean, the top of the dash, it's hard plastic, same there. I can even spot the lines for the passenger side airbag. The material they use here, it's soft, it's nice, but the stitching is fake, even though they use the same material here, but the stitching is real. So real here, fake there, I don't know why. And there's also the matter of panel gaps. I mean, the fact that I can move this like that doesn't tell me that it's a good quality panel. Even same here, a lot of the things with the vehicle could be improved on. When it comes to one of my pet peeves, the buttons, well, let's take a look. I press here, nothing happens. Here, nothing. 2 more buttons here that are blanks. The only button there is the stability control button. That's really it. Nothing else there. They don't even have USB ports. I mean, apart from this one on the head unit, but we'll get to the head unit a little bit later. The only way to charge is through there or through the 12-volt outlet inside here, which is actually pretty small and pretty shallow. But also when it comes to finding a place for your phone, I mean, where can you put it? Here? Not really. Here? Not really. Here? Nope, not deep enough for that. So yeah, considering the target market of a vehicle like the Corolla Cross, I think they missed quite a few with this version. So far, I've been quite critical of the Corolla Cross, and hopefully I was able to explain why. But there's one aspect that we can't really fault it for, and that's the everyday driving, the daily driven aspect of the vehicle, which is what it was built for in the first place. So, I mean, the steering, it's not exciting, it's not engaging, but it's light. The dimensions of the vehicle make it very easy to park. It's very easy to see out through these big windows. The noise suppression, it could be a little bit better because if you pull up next to a jeepney, you can hear his exhaust quite a bit. But other than that, everything more or less plus points. I mean, braking is good. The acceleration isn't exciting, but the response is good from the engine and from the transmission. What impressed us the most with the Corolla Cross is actually the fuel economy, which is quite high considering this isn't a hybrid variant. Because in the Corolla Cross Hybrid, you can expect fuel economy somewhere around 20 plus kilometers per liter, which is really, really high because that's what a hybrid does. But when it comes to this one, even at a slow 16 kilometers per hour average speed, the average fuel economy we were getting is 9.5, 9.6 thereabouts. I actually had to double check that and confirm it with another one of our drivers. And yes, that's actually what the Corolla Cross is doing. So if you're after something efficient every day, the Corolla Cross might be a good bet. Yes, the drive of the Corolla Cross is solid and the fuel economy is actually fantastic. But I'm not really sure it makes up for the misgivings I have with the vehicle overall. I mean, the exterior look, it's great. I mean, you pass by a storefront with glass windows like that, you check yourself out driving the car, and then you think, wow, that's a good looking car and I look good driving it. But 99% of the time, I'll just make up a number, you're looking at this, the interior. We jump from one vehicle to another in the same category. You can see the upgrade or you can feel the downgrade. And with the Corolla Cross, unfortunately, we can feel the downgrade compared to a lot of the competitors in the category. Toyota's choice of the head unit, we're not really a big fan of this. And Apple CarPlay, Android Auto doesn't even work there as standard. You have to have the T-Link thing to get this to work. Even the Bluetooth is a bit spotty sometimes. And also the choice of materials here, we've discussed all of this before. That's the thing with the Cross, because in here you can kind of see and feel the cost cutting, almost like an iPhone 13. Too soon? I think it comes down to people not really complaining too much about what Toyota is offering. That's actually one thing they notice. Like, our customers don't really complain too much. They should complain more. So we thought, well, we'd complain a bit more and say that, yeah, we want you guys to put a bit more effort into it. Yeah, a bit more, make it a bit fancier. Not really super fancy, but make the materials better. Fill up these empty button slots. Because as a leader, Toyota should be leading, showing others how it's done, not the minimum of what they can do. Personally, I don't think the Corolla Cross is a convincing enough package, and many of you actually agree. Because so far this year, Toyota has sold about 1,000 Corolla Cross units nationwide. 61% is this version, 39% is the hybrid variant. To put those numbers in perspective, the Ford Territory, yes, the rebadged JMC from China, is outselling the Corolla Cross by almost 3-1. Even the smaller Chinese-made Geely Coolray is outselling the Corolla Cross almost 2-1. I think Toyota missed a big opportunity with the Corolla Cross to dominate the segment had they put more effort into the packaging of it. Because I don't think they realized that the market is really very competitive in this category and that the customers are much more open-minded about the badge. Toyota loyalists will say that, hey, she may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
Let us know what you think about the Corolla Cross, especially for 1.3 million in this variant. Was I too harsh on it? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, tap that notification bell, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.